One thing I always remember is that the tree itself has collected more energy to give us this resource, and to build these compounds. It's taken a lot of energy to create, so it takes a lot of energy to purify. These stills are pretty good. I mean, you can make distilled water, you can distill alcohol. The temperatures are set for distilling alcohol and things like that. And if you want to go the whole hog, you can get like a vacuum distillation column. You can go and you can fractionate these oils so you can separate out different compounds. Even inside the water, you can do lots of things to extract what you have in the water, because your compounds, some will be water soluble, some will be oil soluble, and the quality of the oil that you get from this is pretty damn good. And the water, people think that deionized water is higher quality than distilled water. Well, it just simply is not the case. Most of the time, specification on deionized water, because of the different columns they use, is a much lower purity than distilled water, in industry anyway. This is some oil that I got back in 2020 from a setup like this, from a tree like that. This is a Leyland cypress. Smells rather lemony, very, very good fragrance, and high quality. And you can tell it's high quality if you have it in a glass, a clear glass. You can tell that it's high quality just by looking at it. And if you look at the oil, this is why you see chemists all the time looking at these things, you know, holding these up to the light. If you look at the clarity and you see cloudiness of any sort, then it's an indication that you have contamination of something. And if you're working with oil and water, cloudiness is likely to be an emulsion of sorts, so that means that your water concentration is high. You can see here at the meniscus as well the two phases, the gas phase and the liquid phase. If you look in the middle there and you just give it a little shake, you'll see on the glass that you might get some cloudiness on the glass, and again, that's an indication that you've got some contamination, probably in this case water. And this looks very, very clear. I can pretty much bet that I'd be willing to bet that if I put this through Carl Fisher titration, if I titrated this now for water content, I'd get less than 10 ppm pretty easily, because it's, you know, that's the sort of quality that you can get from a still like this, which is pretty amazing, really, considering. And if you're more interested, then you can go and you can do even more. But I mean, as far as being able to put this away in a box somewhere, it's basically just a heater, and do random distillations and get some essential oil. It's pretty damn good. This is a separating funnel. Best to work with glass as well. If you're handling oil, just remember that plastic is oil, so you've got a higher risk of getting leaching of the plastic. Any compounds from the plastic, colorants and whatnot, will be soluble in plastic, soluble in oil. So if you've got oil in contact with that, then there's a risk that you can get leaching. This plastic is Teflon, much lower risk, but still you have that risk. So work with glass if you can. These plastic bottles to store oil, not ideal at all. You can see the clarity. Again, if you look at the clarity, it's a bit cloudy coming out now. If you separate off these different fractions then you can get different scents. This water coming off now is very fragrant. So you've got compounds in that water that are fragrant, so you can use that water to dilute detergent with. If you want to dilute your washing up liquid, you can add that water to your bath. There's a lot of uses for this water that is infused, but the main thing we're going to be looking at is that layer on top there. That is the oil, and it's just starting. You can see very cool if you're interested in this kind of stuff.